Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video and happy Saturday to all of you. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all keeping well. So today we are playing Boltzmann's Shudderwock Shaman deck featuring Bad Luck Albatross. Those of you that have been watching my channel over the last few weeks will know that I have developed the most unhealthy obsession with Bad Luck Albatross. You know, there is something really evil but also very much fun about shuffling birds into your opponent's deck and shuffling as many birds as possible into your opponent's deck and forcing them to concede out of sheer frustration. And Boltzmann is a good friend of mine on Twitter. You've seen me feature his decks before on my channel. But he was so kind as to give me 3 different bird Shudderwock Shaman decks. We're going to look at this deck here first, but we'll talk about the other decks at the end of the video. So let's enlarge this deck. Let's make it a little bit easier for you to view. Looking at the composition of the cards then, the core strategy behind the deck is to play Plated Beetle and to play Bad Luck Albatross. And you want to kill both of those off, of course, get the death rattles into play. At that point, you shuffle a couple of birds into your opponent's deck. It's not really a big deal. But later on in the game, you play the Undatakah. And the Undatakah, costing 8, by the way. You know, it's expensive, but it could be worse. It could cost 10. You play the Undatakah, and the battle cry, of course, is to gain the death rattle effects of 3 friendly minions that died this game. So you gain the death rattle effect of the Plated Beetle and the Bad Luck Albatross. Now keep in mind, at this point, if the Undatakah gets silenced, hexed, or whatever, gets neutralised, it's okay, because the battle cry is in the pool. Therefore, at the end of the game, when you do play the Shudderwock, you still get the Undatakah's battle cry in play, and so you do pull off the arm again and you start to shuffle birds into your opponent's deck, and you keep playing your Shudderwock again and again. There's more birds that get shuffled, more armor that gets gained. So of course with the armor gain, if you are taking fatigue damage at that point, the armor is going to help with that, but Rito's battle cry is probably in the pool, so you're going to be healing to full health anyway, so you're going to be fine. Of course, you do have the lower third battle cry replicated, so your opponent's not going to be able to cast any kind of significant AoE or big spells to hurt you or to neutralise your board, because you may have Shudderwocks replicated on the board, and if they may stick on the board, assuming that Grumble's battle cry hasn't returned them all to hand. But even if you can't get anything to stick on the board, it's not so much of a problem, because at the end of the day, your opponent is just going to be drawing birds, and they're going to concede out of sheer, utter frustration. That's the plan. You've got various ways of controlling the board with this deck: Devolve, Plague of Murlocs, Volcano, Devolving Missiles. This deck is teched nicely against Big Priest because of particularly the Plague of Murlocs. I find particularly hilarious when Big Priest just summons Murlocs back to life with their resurrection spells. But anyway, let's have a look at this deck in action then on the Wild Mode ladder. We're going to look at one full game. It's 30 minutes, so brace yourselves, and it's going to be against a priest.
Lady Vash versus Tyrande.
Okay.
10,000 years, and still you annoy me.
So we have a bird in hand. I quite like that. And we have a 1-drop. That could be board presence. It's a 2-1. It's going to do something, right? Who cares about the battle cry in this particular matchup? We have Geppetto. Could very well be a turn 8 play. May get us a cheap Shudderwock, perhaps. Okay, Mr. Priest. Show us what you've got on turn 1. Nothing. Excellent. That's what we like to see. This deck can take some time to get things developed, to get things going. So if your opponent is giving you that time, it's a wonderful thing. And look, our opponent is so gracious as to give us time. Okay. Palm reading? They always have palm reading, right?
I wonder.
Of course! There it is! Palm reading. Which means, in theory, we're going to see a turn 5 Shadow Essence. That's what usually happens at this point. So I'm feeling a little bit scared having seen that palm reading, and so I had to coin out the bird. This just maintains a bit more board presence. Of course, another palm reading. It's not Reno Priest. It is thus Big Priest. So surely now, turn 5 is going to be Shadow Essence. Surely. So just going wide on the board, getting some stuff down. If there is a Shadow Essence here, maybe we can contest it with our minions. We have this Plague of Murlocs in hand. We need to think carefully about when to use it.
I wonder.
If they play Shadow Essence and get 1 minion down, do we want to deny them the resurrection on that first minion? So, no Shadow Essence. I'm actually incredibly surprised. With that double palm reading, I was surely thinking they would have had it in hand. But clearly not. Maybe they won't develop anything in this game and we'll just hit them in the face and win. Oh look, there it is, off the top. Okay, so now I'm looking at 2 minions on the board for the Big Priest. And Sandstorm Elemental, it's not doing a huge amount here. Volcano's perhaps a bit more helpful for later. So we want to get the birds in for sure. And I'm just going to go off here with the Plague of Murlocs. I want to screw with their resurrection pool as early as possible. And oh my goodness! Hello! Magic Finn giving us Refarm. And oh boy, isn't that tempting? Isn't that so very tempting? We need to get to that other Murloc. We need to kill it. Get it in the pool. Okay, what do we get? Ooh, the Lich King. That's actually beautiful. So we've got a little bit of value here from Magic Finn. I'm quite happy with that. Are we okay? I think we're okay with putting the statue into his resurrection pool. I think that's okay. I don't care so much about the obsidian statues. They've only got 4 attack. It's the other minions that worry me more. in Big Priest. Like that. Katrina. That's a real concern. Okay. How badly do we want to neutralize Katrina? Do we want her in the resurrection pool?
The end is close.
This is the question. The other 3 minions on board we're not bothered about, but Katrina could be a problem. Although, for the time being, if Katrina is resurrecting Murlocs, is that such a bad thing? Are we happy to keep her around on the board if she's resurrecting rubbish for our opponent?
Blood contagion.
Yep. Kill those off. Add them to your pool of minions. Go on. Oh, okay. The little 1/1 Murloc survives. Okay, that's annoying. Those aren't particularly great for me. No. But at least we can clear everything. It's one of the issues with devolve. If you devolve expensive minions, they devolve into slightly less expensive minions, but they're still big minions.
Power overwhelming.
And they can still be an absolute nuisance, like now. This is just going to keep growing, isn't it? That needs to go. That can't be allowed to live. So, how do we want to deal with this? We don't want the Shudderwock just yet. Reno is perhaps going to be helpful soon enough. We could trade, we could Volcano. That's a possibility. Or we can wait. Do we want to wait? It's a lot of damage coming our way if we wait. Okay. Starting to feel a little bit more uneasy now as the game goes on. Okay. And a 7/7. Okay. The issue is going to be, do we have enough tools to withstand multiple resurrection effects? Even if the priest is not resurrecting the minions that were originally intended to be resurrected, even if he's resurrecting these 5/7s and 7/7s, you know, these can still hurt my face. These can still hit pretty hard. So can we still outlast the priest to the point where we can play the Shudderwock? That's the question. So 11 damage on board, that is a lot to take. So we need to heal.
I don't make mistakes.
And I'm okay to commit the Undatakah here. We don't get the Plated Beetle Death Rattle, but we're getting Bad Luck Albatross, and we are getting the Murloc McGurgle, Death Rattle in play. And silencing there, not a big deal, because the battle cries are still in the pool. That's really what matters. The Lich King is going to hopefully block 11 damage to my face. Hopefully they just trade into this. Or not. Wow, they run Entomb. So greedy. And that Entomb was from Shadow Visions, so they have another one in the deck. Gosh. So I suspect that here we have to play Reno. But I'm going to Devolving Missiles first. So I can do this. Okay, excellent. And by the way, a 1/1 Jade Golem on the board there. Really good for us, if that can go into the Resurrection Pool.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Zola is a beautiful pickup. We could Zola now, or we could just Grumble. I think I prefer the Grumble, because it's a 7/7 body. Although the Reno does go back to hand, so we lose that on the board as board presence. So was it better to Grumble there? Or should we just have Zola'd the Reno, have the full 6 body of Reno on the board and the 2/2 Zola and the Beetle? What would have been better there? I'm not entirely sure. Okay, thank you for the armor. We need to remove the Lich King, and this is a very timely pickup, by the way. Incredibly timely. Look at that animation. And that awesome sound effect.
Rumble! Rumble!
I guess we can just wait. We're not in a rush to play Reno now, are we? Health total respectable. I think we can just hold off for the time being. So there is a 1/1 Jade Golem in the Priest Resurrection pool. Let's see if we can get lucky and get that resurrected a few times.
What is a loon's will?
Do we get lucky? Oh, we do! We actually get lucky. I mean, the Lich King, not what we wanted to see. Obsidian statue, not too fast. Anyway, we just need to keep stalling. That's what we need to do until we get to the Shudderwock turn. Two copies of Reno to hand, really going to help with the stalling. Want to kill the Lich King. I just feel too threatened by it. It's the 8 attack, and it's those cards that they get back to hand. These other 2 minions, statue, golem, they can stay there if they want.
Warriors of the frozen wastes.
Okay. That's my Lich King that he stole? Can we top deck a solution to that? No, but we can go wide.
Get 'em, boys.
So the drawback with this play is if they have Psychic Scream, we get all these doppelgangsters into our deck, but we'll also get the Lich King and an Obsidian statue. So maybe it's kind of a fair trade-off, but it is going to increase the size of our deck and make it harder to get to that Shudderwock turn quicker. Although, Mass Hysteria, I guess that deals with my board. A bit annoying that the statue and the Lich King didn't attack each other and just die. Opponent knows that I have 2 Rhinos in hand, so I found that 5 damage to my face quite interesting. Maybe they're just trying to force a Rhino from me now, get one of those Rhinos out the way.
We're gonna be rich.
Just keep putting me under pressure, force the second Rhino, and then hope they can finish me off before the Shudderwock comes down. Maybe that's the strategy. Meanwhile, that Rafarm is sitting on the left side of my hand, and it is so tempting. But I must resist, I must be strong. Another 8 to the face. Really painful. Ooh, bird! Hello. Big Priest, clearly happy to add that to their resurrection pool. So, Zephyrus.
Your wish is my suggestion.
2 wishes here. We could take the Brawl, or we could take the Black Knight. Or if we want to be fancy, we could take Faceless and replicate the statue or the Lich King. But no, I'm gonna take one of each, the Knight and the Brawl.
None shall.
And once again, I'm going to go with the strategy of stalling. Stalling for more time. Let's get some more stuff on that board, and then we'll brawl it. For now, we got rid of the Lich King, which was the biggest threat. So that was sufficient for that turn. Oh, wow. Okay. Entombing my Zephyrus. Big Priest will soon turn into Reno Priest and use Zephyrus to kill me. I guess that's the plan. Well, now this is interesting. Can we get a charging Murloc, please? No, we can't. So, what does this do to the Shudderwock Battlecry pool? When we do play the Shudderwock, are we just going to be summoning a load of Murlocs onto the board? If the answer to that question is yes, is that such a bad thing? Is that such a bad thing? Oh, that's a terrible thing! Psychic Scream, oh god. Oh dear lord. It's actually terrible for us. And we draw the bird. Of course we do. It's not me that's supposed to be drawing the birds. It's supposed to be the opponent. Honestly, was so tempted by Rafarm. But my willpower is still holding somehow. Alright, so they're down to playing big threats from hand now. Despite stuff getting shuffled into my deck, thankfully Reno is still active. Alright, gonna be rich. That beautiful healing. And we have the tour guide in hand. I guess we'd save that for a Shudderwock turn. So I guess we'd play it maybe the turn before we play the Shudderwock. And just get the hero power primed and ready. So, another prime. Maybe this time we get Charging Murloc. Oh look! Charging Murloc! Beautiful! So maybe we could just kill the priest with Murlocs, and oh look! Fincher! Who can pull Murlocs out of our deck? How glorious! Oh god. Okay. It survives. How annoying. However, we're going to counter that with Double Taunt and a few other Murlocs. We are still Murloc Shaman here. And Tour Guide, I'm going to play it. The reason I'm playing it is because surely at any moment soon we're going to draw that Shudderwock. There are 2 cards left in our deck. So 50-50 chance of the next card being the Shudderwock. So I may as well set up the tour guide. We do have the Barista in hand. I'm not too fussed about the Barista in terms of return to hand effect. We do have Zola's Battlecry in the pool. We have Grumble as well. So it's fine. I think the opponent knows what's going to be coming soon, right? 2 cards left in the deck. They've got to know the Shudderwock is on the way. They've seen the tour guide get played as well. So that is a precursor, surely, to what is to come. And if they know it's coming, if they know there's nothing they can do to stop it, I thought, were they going to just rope and then concede? But no, they're still in it. Oh, okay, we did not get the Shudderwock. That's okay. Just trade. Play it? This really is going to wreak havoc with our Battlecry pool, right? If the Shudderwock is just going to be summoning Murlocs. But wait, when the Shudderwock summons Murlocs because of the Prime, do they get Divine Shield? That's the question. That's an interesting question.
I do not have any cards.
Okay, there he is. There's the good old Shudderwock. So I guess we just trade everything? Alright, are you ready for it? Here we go. Okay, they do get Divine Shield. That is awesome. So we can just beat our opponent down with Murlocs. Grumble, that Battlecry does give us a Shudderwock back to hand. That is really important to note.
My jaws that bite, my claws that catch.
Oh, the tasty Finn death rattle is being triggered, right? Hence why we are drawing these primes and losing them. Of course. Of course. But it's not going to matter. They are completely locked out of resurrecting anything now.
I am low on cards. I do not have any cards.
So the only way that they can mount any kind of defense
My jaws that bite.
is
My claws
by
that
playing minions from hand onto the board. And Toasty, good friend of mine, saying, "What did you do?" Great question. Great question. Look at this board. 3 Shudderwocks and 4 Murlocs. What a board. Yes, we broke the game. This is not what you're meant to see on a Shudderwock board, right? So we can just trade the Murlocs. And we can actually push damage face here. Refarm, by the way, would be so tempting
I
here.
do not have any cards.
It is finished. You win.
But our opponent decided they'd had enough. I don't blame them. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Boltzmann Shudderwock Shaman deck featuring the Bad Luck Albatross. And it was the deck on the left-hand side that you saw. We call it the General deck. I guess it's the all-purpose deck to use on the ladder. There are 2 other versions, though, that Boltzmann had sent me, and the deck in the middle is what I've labelled the Grizzled Bird deck. This is the deck that you use if you're facing lots of Reno Priests on the ladder, because it has the Grizzled Wizard Sir Finley combo to basically take away the Reno Priest's hero power. Once you take away the hero power, they just lose the game, usually. And in addition to that, the deck on the right-hand side is the Anti-aggro version. You've got cards in that deck like Depth Charge, and you've also got other options to really mess with aggro, like Primordial Drake, interestingly enough, and having that battle cry go off turn after turn against aggressive opponents. If you manage to pull off the Shudderwock, will just win you the game, right? Because they simply cannot maintain a board ever. The Curator, also interestingly in that deck too. So that looks like a very fun deck to play as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, whichever one of these decks you play, you're guaranteed to have fun. They're all quite expensive, bordering between 17 to 19,000 dust in value. So, would I recommend that you craft legendaries in these decks to play them? Only if you know that you really are going to enjoy this playstyle. You've got to remember that these decks do need a bit of luck in order to work. So you've got to be a lucky player. And you've just got to hope that you draw answers to the problems presented on the board when you need those answers. So drawing Reno to heal when you need to heal, that needs a bit of good luck. And also remember that the games can go on for quite some time. If you are playing until the very end, where you get the Shudderwock down, you could be looking at 20 to 30 minutes for some games, as you've seen in this video. So you need to have patience, you need to have time as well. If you are looking for quick wins on the ladder, then maybe this is not the deck style for you. But if you're looking for fun, if you want to be entertained, if you want to frustrate your opponent, particularly frustrating Reno decks with birds, then these decks are pretty awesome indeed. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you, as always, to Boltzmann for all of the effort that he goes to in terms of testing these decks, designing these decks, he also works hard engaging with the wild mode community on Twitter. So thank you very much to Boltzmann for everything that you do. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone, and I will see you all again very soon, as always, for more wild mode fun. Do take care now.